Hi there. Welcome to Spooky Entertainment. Before we get into the storytelling, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, let's get into it. Number 1. I'm a 25-year-old male, and this story takes place on an eerie summer night, while I was driving back home from a work trip. My drive back was about 3 hours long, and my gas tank was showing half full. I decided to just start driving and fill up my gas tank once I saw a gas station on my way back. About halfway through, I pulled into a dimly lit gas station in an area I wasn't really familiar with, so I already felt a bit uneasy. It was late at night, and a thick fog had settled, adding to the unsettling atmosphere. A sense of unease crawled up my spine as I stepped out of the car, the sound of my footsteps echoing eerily in the silence. As I approached the gas pump, I noticed a figure lurking near the corner of the building. The person was tall and wore a tattered coat that billowed in the cold wind. Their face was obscured by a wide-brimmed hat pulled low, making it impossible to make out any features. An unsettling chill ran through me, but I brushed it off as paranoia. I fumbled with my wallet, feeling the weight of the stranger's gaze on me. Something about their presence felt wrong, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. With a deep breath, I finally managed to insert my credit card into the pump and began fueling my car. As the gas pumped, I glanced up and noticed the figure had moved closer. My heart raced and I could feel a cold sweat forming on my brow. It was as if they were intentionally trying to unnerve me. A sudden gust of wind sent a shiver down my spine, and I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched with malicious intent. Determined to escape this unsettling encounter, I hastily finished fueling up my car and returned the pump to its stand. Just as I turned to leave, a raspy voice pierced the silence, making my blood run cold. "You shouldn't be here," it whispered, sending a chill down my spine. I spun around, searching for the source of the voice, but the figure had vanished. Panic surged within me as I realized I was alone in this desolate place. My heart pounded in my chest as I hurriedly made my way back to the car, fumbling with the keys in my trembling hands. As I started the engine, the car's headlights briefly illuminated the gas station, revealing a haunting sight. The tall figure, now standing in the middle of the empty lot, raised its head to reveal a twisted, sinister grin. The intensity of that moment paralyzed me with fear, and I slammed my foot on the accelerator, desperate to escape. The tires screeched against the pavement as I sped away, leaving behind the gas station and the haunting presence that had consumed it. Number 2. I'm a 21-year-old female, and this is my story of surviving an attack by a potential robber. The story takes place during a chilly fall night, when I stopped at a gas station to fill up my car. I stood at the dimly lit gas station on a desolate stretch of road. It was late at night, and the only sounds that echoed through the air were the distant hum of passing cars and the rustling of leaves in the cool breeze. As I pumped gas into my car, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and an unexplainable sense of dread washed over me. Glancing around, my eyes scanned the area, but there was no one in sight except for the lone gas station attendant behind the counter. Just as I was about to dismiss my paranoia as mere imagination, a tall figure emerged from the shadows. The man, clad in a tattered coat, stumbled toward me with an erratic gait. His disheveled hair and wild eyes sent a shiver down my spine. I instinctively tightened my grip on the gas pump, my heart pounding in my chest. "Hey you," he said, his voice harsh and gravelly. "Got any spare change?" I hesitated, taken aback by the sudden intrusion. "Sorry, I don't have any," I replied, my voice trembling slightly. The man's face twisted into a twisted grin, revealing yellowed, rotting teeth. "Oh, but I think you do," he sneered, his gaze fixated on my purse. Fear gripped me as I realized he had been observing me closely. Panic surged through my veins and I took a step back, my mind racing for a way to escape this menacing stranger. But before I could react, the man lunged towards me, his intentions unmistakably malicious. Instinct took over as adrenaline coursed through my body. I swung the gas pump, its metal nozzle connecting with the side of his head. A sickening thud echoed in the air as he stumbled and fell to the ground, momentarily stunned. Without a second thought, I sprinted toward my car, fumbling with the keys in my trembling hands. The engine roared to life, and I sped away from the gas station, leaving the chilling encounter behind me. The gas station attendant watched from a distance, his eyes wide with shock. As I drove into the night, The realization of how close I had come to danger sank in. The encounter at the gas station would forever haunt me. From that day on, I vowed to be more vigilant, to trust my instincts, and to always be prepared for the unexpected horrors that may lie in wait. Number 3. I'm an 18-year-old female, and this is a story of how I almost got attacked at my local gas station store one evening during a routine snack run. The gas station is only a 5-minute walk away from my house. On this particular evening, as I stepped into the store, the familiar scent of fuel mixed with the enticing aroma of freshly brewed coffee greeted my senses. It was a regular evening, just like any other. Little did I know that this routine stop would soon turn into a nightmare. I walked past the rows of snacks and beverages, my eyes scanning the shelves for my usual guilty pleasures. The fluorescent lights overhead buzzed, casting an eerie glow on the otherwise mundane scene. There were a few other customers scattered around, going about their own business, completely unaware of the impending danger. As I made my way to the back of the store, I noticed a creepy-looking man standing in one of the aisles. He was staring at me, as if he had been waiting there looking for a target. An unsettling feeling washed over me. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, and a cold shiver ran down my spine. I tried to brush it off, convincing myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me. Lost in my thoughts, I grabbed a bag of chips and turned towards the checkout counter. Looking back, I realized that the creepy man had started following me. His eyes darted around the store, filled with an unsettling intensity. Something about him sent alarm bells ringing in my head. I hesitated, debating whether I should leave or confront the man. Before I could make a decision, I realized he had caught up with me. I stopped dead in my tracks, looking straight in his eyes. His gaze pierced through me, and a sinister grin spread across his face. Panic surged through my veins, and I instinctively backed away, my heart pounding in my chest. As I retreated, the man began to approach again, his footsteps echoing ominously in the empty aisles. I glanced around, desperately searching for an escape route. The other customers seemed oblivious to the unfolding horror, their conversations blending into a muted backdrop. Time seemed to slow down as the man closed the distance between us again. Fear paralyzed me, but a surge of determination welled up inside. I refused to be a victim. I looked around for something, anything that could help me defend myself. My eyes landed on a metal broom leaning against a nearby shelf. Without a second thought, I grabbed it, clutching it tightly in my trembling hands. It wasn't much, but it was all I had. As the man reached out to grab me, adrenaline kicked in, propelling me into action. I swung the broom with all my might, aiming for his head. The metallic thud reverberated through the store as the broom connected with his skull, momentarily stunning him. Seizing the opportunity, I sprinted towards the exit, my heart pounding in my ears. I burst through the doors, gasping for breath as the cool night air washed over me. Glancing back, I saw the man recovering from the blow, his rage transforming into a feral determination. I knew I had to find help, and fast. I sprinted across the gas station parking lot, desperately searching for a safe haven. Finally, I spotted a nearby diner with its lights still on. I raced towards it, praying that someone inside would come to my aid. As I pushed open the diner door, tears streaming down my face, I gasped for breath and managed to utter a single word: "Help!" The patrons and staff turned towards me, their faces a mix of concern and shock. I collapsed onto the floor, my body trembling, as the realization of what had just transpired sank in. The traumatic events of that night would forever be etched in my memory, a constant reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most ordinary of places. But through it all, I refused to let fear define me. I had fought back and survived. That's all for today. Let me know how you liked the video in the comment section below. And if you would like to share your spooky experience, please send it to our email listed in the description box below. See you next time.